Chef Paul Rankin joined James Martin on Saturday morning for another installment of his ITV daytime cooking show. Whilst Paul was cooking, James was sitting back relaxing, watching the chef work his magic. However, Paul took a humorous swipe at James when he asked if he was going to help him cook. James introduced Paul to the show and said, "It's an honor to be here in the kitchen with an old mate from Ready Steady Cook. I'm just looking at the little glint in his eye." He was the first chef ever to win a Michelin star in Northern Ireland. "It's the fabulous Paul Rankin, so what are you going to be doing for us?" Paul clapped along with the rest of the cast before answering, "I'm doing char-grilled squid. It's one of my favorite things to eat on the planet. Now is a great time to be eating squid. Squid's bang in season now, so you should be able to get it if you've got a good fishmonger." James went on to ask, "Where did your love of Asian food come from?" To which Paul said, "That came from, I traveled the world for 2.5 years before I started cooking. I worked as a waiter to make money whilst I was traveling, and to go traveling, that's when I fell in love with the restaurant industry." Kicking back and watching Paul cook, James was enjoying watching someone else take charge in the kitchen, before Paul jokingly said, "Are you not allowed to do anything?" James bluntly replied, "No, why's that?" As Paul replied, "You're just standing there, and I'm cooking for you." Quickly, James had to remind Paul about what he had put in the pan before it burnt, which led to a story about how the chef had previously burnt some noodles. "People love that though when chefs mess stuff up, so you just want to keep them moving, don't get distracted," he said, sarcastically. Paul then needed to drain the pan he was using and asked James where he could drain it, to which James informed him, "The floor." "James, you're mental, you're losing it," Paul exclaimed, as he finished plating up the dish he had made for James and the crew. Upon being asked what he has planned for his future, Paul explained, "Just talking about veggie stuff, I quite fancy doing a veggie restaurant with my son. I can't talk him into it yet, he's a bit fearful of the whole mental restaurant experience, but he's an artisan baker. So, I need to work with him, so hopefully something like that," Paul revealed. James and Paul both featured on the BBC daytime cooking game show Ready Steady Cook, which aired from 1994 to 2010. The aim of the game was for two members of the public to provide two celebrity chefs with a bag of ingredients they had bought with usually a £5 budget. The teams were then split into two different kitchens. The two chefs then had to create a winning dish with the ingredients provided. A celebrity version of the show was also aired, which saw the likes of Alison Hammond, David Tennant, James May, and Alan Davies take part. In March 2020, the BBC commissioned a revival of the hit BBC show, with Rylan Clark Neal serving as the host.